Okay, let's jump right into this explainer and explore the absolute best mainline Seiko watches you can buy in 2026. Today, we're going to be treating each of these categories almost like a cinematic character study in premium horology. Look, if you appreciate intricate mechanics, rich heritage, and just the undeniable wrist presence of a beautifully crafted timepiece, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to look past the obvious and frankly much more expensive Grand Seiko models and uncover the absolute gems waiting for you right now in Seiko's primary lineup. And that really brings us to a fascinating question. How exactly do you secure world-class Japanese craftsmanship, absolute reliability, and that legendary horological heritage without spending an absolute fortune? Well, that is the pure magic of Seiko in 2026. The value proposition here is just unbeatable. We're talking about watches that literally share DNA, manufacturing facilities, and even the exact same master artisans as their high-end Grand Seiko siblings. Let's kick things off with Chapter 1, the perfect everyday watch. Now, this brings us to what is arguably the toughest category in watchmaking, the everyday watch. This is the timepiece that literally has to do it all, transitioning seamlessly from the boardroom on a Tuesday to running errands on a Saturday. In this arena, the Seiko Paz series stands as perhaps the greatest single mechanical watch you can buy right now for under $1,000. It follows this foolproof luxury aesthetic with incredibly deliberate details. So whether you opt for the 40mm stainless steel or the slightly dressier new 38mm versions, which, by the way, feature these gorgeous styles inspired by woven Japanese silk, the finishing is just spectacularly intentional. You get this restrained polishing on the case sides and bezel, paired with a super clean, uninterrupted butterfly clasp bracelet. Add in the AR-coated sapphire crystal and 100 meters of water resistance, it perfectly straddles that line between dress and sport. And at the heart of all this reliability is the 6R55 movement, which boasts a very impressive 72-hour power reserve. That is 3 whole days, guys, meaning you can take it off on a Friday evening and it's still ticking away perfectly on Monday morning. But what makes this a true all-rounder is that this specific caliber shares its rugged DNA with legendary, celebrated tool watches like the 62 MAS and the Seiko Alpinist. It brings that proven, heavy-duty Japanese reliability straight to your daily wear. Moving right along to Chapter 2, redefining the dive watch. Look, dive watches are undeniably Seiko's bread and butter. They've had this reputation for replacing Swiss divers on a professional level long before smartwatches were even a concept. But veteran Seiko fans know that the SPB 317 turtle cushion case has honestly never looked this sleek. Usually, dive watches can look, well, a little bloated if you're just wearing them to the gym or out for a quick run. But at an incredibly thin 12.3 millimeters, this watch completely avoids that trap while still retaining a robust 200 meters of water resistance. Slipping it on gives you the impression of infinite versatility. It's light, it's comfortable, and it's remarkably restrained for a serious sports watch. But if you want a more professional, uncompromising interpretation of that legendary dive history, the SLA 079 Marine Master is absolutely your answer. This watch offers immense value by housing the 8L35 movement. And for those who don't know, this is a caliber derived directly from the Grand Seiko 9S55, just minus a bit of the luxury cosmetic finishing. It is quite literally hand-assembled and adjusted in the exact same Shizuku-ishi watch studio as those high-end Grand Seiko mechanicals. And powering all this performance is an absolute technical marvel, MEMS technology. Basically, this allows Seiko to produce movement components with microscopic precision. By repurposing semiconductor manufacturing methods, they can actually get the tolerances of the escape wheel and pallet fork down to the micrometer. It's insane. This guarantees extreme durability and accuracy in a watch that is already over-engineered with a screw-in replaceable crown tube. Basically, it's designed to last a literal lifetime. Which brings us to Chapter 3, the Vintage Dress Revival. We are looking at a true engineering feat here in the King Seiko SJ121. This isn't just a stunning watch. It's a 145th anniversary, 800-piece limited edition that completely redefines vintage inspiration. Thanks to the 6L35 slimline movement, which is Seiko's thinnest automatic caliber, the case sits at a remarkably rare 9.9 millimeters thick. This delivers authentic late 60s proportions that take direct inspiration from the landmark 45 KCM case shape. It pairs that incredible vintage thinness and ergonomics with modern reliability. Trust me, handling this watch in person immediately turns any price point skepticism into absolute conviction. And just take a moment to notice that warm, grayish graded dial. This isn't just beautiful, it is historically profound. It utilizes the Nanonko pattern, which is this guilloche-style texture that actually echoes the hand engravings Seiko's founder Kentaro Hattori applied to his very earliest creations. When you combine this rich heritage with these beautifully faceted gold-tone indices and close-to-mirror case polishing, you're getting a level of craftsmanship that legitimately rivals Grand Seiko.
And next up is Chapter 4, A Historic Chronograph Legacy. When we talk about chronographs, we are talking about a lineage that commands immense respect from serious collectors. The Speedtimer family represents some of the first automatic chronographs ever created. Its history stretches all the way from timing the 1964 Tokyo Olympics to famously sneaking aboard the NASA Skylab 4 mission on the wrist of astronaut William Pogue. Today, all of that heritage culminates in the stunningly redesigned SRQ-055. It features a new exterior bezel for a sportier look and an incredibly refined 8R48 movement inside. But I really want you to look at the sheer value on display here. For $2,500, the SRQ-055 offers a stutter-free vertical clutch and column wheel mechanism with exceptionally crisp, tactile pushers. And yes, it utilizes that same microscopic MEMS escapement technology we discussed earlier. Honestly, to get this specific suite of high-end movement features from Swiss competitors, like, say, a Tudor Black Bay Chrono, you're usually looking at watches costing $7,000 or more.
Finally, we'll slow things down a bit with Chapter 5, Ancient Japanese-Style Artistry.
For our final piece, we're stepping away from the demanding world of sports and timing to appreciate a really rigorous artisanal process, one that is virtually impossible to find at this price point. I'm talking about the SPB 477, a true testament to Seiko's craftsmanship line. The style's creation is commanded by master craftsman Isshu Tamura in Kanazawa, Japan. It's wild. The process involves tapping black sap from the Japanese rushi tree, meticulously hand-applying multiple layers of lacquer, and then polishing it entirely by hand using specialized charcoal. It takes 3 grueling weeks just to complete a single dial. But the result? It yields a surface that looks like deep, glowing, wet ink in literally any light. I want you to really consider the value proposition here. You are getting a genuine handcrafted urushi lacquer dial made by the exact same artist, Mr. Tamura, who produces $30,000 dials for Grand Seiko. Yet this particular watch, complete with a 72-hour power reserve and a GMT complication, sits at just $1,750. There is simply no way to overstate how incredible that is. So, while other luxury watches might be built for tougher lifestyles or boast more complex modern specs, the sheer artistic soul embedded in this timepiece just cannot be duplicated by standard mass manufacturing. The gold accents, the crisp white leaf-shaped hands, that incredibly deep luster, it all creates an experience on the wrist that is profoundly unique to traditional Japanese fine art. I want to leave you with this final thought. As you consider your next acquisition, really look at what Seiko's offering right now. Between micrometer-precise MEMS technology, movements assembled by Grand Seiko masters, and dials hand-lacquered over 3 weeks by generations of artisans, ask yourself, what is true luxury really worth when this profound level of heritage and precision is waiting for you in 2026? Thank you so much for exploring these cinematic timepieces with me today. Keep seeking out the exceptional, and I'll see you in the next explainer.